IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. All right, cock and bull, we've got the usual, what should I call them?
Suspects.
Scoundrels.
Dude. The usual
scoundrels.
suspects. The word is the usual suspects.
Okay, fair enough. Seen the film 3 times. But more importantly, we have someone who raises the bar for us, who's now playing with tissue for some reason, the lovely Kajol.
Hey, Cyrus.
Government mandate says there has to be one, I don't want to draw parallel with Black Lives Matter, there has to be one girl on the show every 2 weeks at least, or we will be switched off permanently.
I'm so glad that was a niche I fit into. Thank you.
But I don't think we hit that quota even if we tried.
No, we are way behind, bro. We are way behind. I quickly want to just rant on something now that you've started me off, which is I had a huge fight with the wife. Kajal, I might be back in the market soon. Please tell your friends. She's really upset with me. And as usual, marriages break over the most mundane things. This time it was a toothbrush. Okay? I broke her toothbrush by mistake. I'm a bit of a ruffian and broken my hand while putting back this fragile piece of equipment. And she got upset and I told her you can use it because the half was still there. The handle had broken. And then she got really angry about that. How can I use it? So I showed her. And that really upset her even more. But I actually showed her. I shouldn't have put it in my mouth or whatever. But, considering we had babies together, suddenly how she became, Mother Teresa. I don't know what happened there. But, to cut a long story short, if you have half a toothbrush, it's actually easier to brush. I'm going to break my brush once I finish this podcast. Please, guys, try it out. The length of that toothbrush is unnecessary. This is much better. You can go all the way in and you can navigate places. It's the way Sachin Tendulkar used to hold the bat, closer to the bottom. It's the same concept. So, folks, it may break my marriage, but science is my gift to you. Half a toothbrush is better than one toothbrush. That's my point. And let's go straight into cock and bull as I hear people switching off the podcast all across the world.
Are you looking for India's most awesome cricket podcast? Are you now tired of listening to the same old guys drone on about cricket everywhere? Edges and Sledges is a weekly cricket podcast hosted by 3 fans of the game, Varun, DJ, and myself, Ashwin. It was established in early 2018, has over 60 episodes now, and is of course now proud to be on the IVM podcast network. Each week, we get together from 3 different time zones, the USA, the UK, and Singapore, and we talk about things from the world of cricket, with a focus on Indian cricket. We often interview special guests from all around the world, including former cricketers and cricket media personalities. So check out Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast, now on the IVM network.
Kajol, welcome home.
Kajol, and yes, thank you.
Kajol.
I'm glad to be here.
My God, you Bengali Tamilian mixes. You're a really aggressive breed, I tell you. Huh. Listen. Would you just honestly, as a woman, I'm asking you before we start the formal thing, why can't you use half a toothbrush? Why is it a problem?
I would love to use half toothbrush. I really do not understand people who are so, iffy about everything.
Really?
Half my things are broken.
Okay, now that's taking it to another level. You're communisticizing my whole situation. But my point is, it's actually practical. Sometimes, these things happen. A lot of inventions happen through accident. And I'm just saying that it's actually practical. I felt like an inventor. I was like, wow, this makes sense. I tried it and I said, this is it. I'm never going to use a full toothbrush again. Promptly went and broke my mom's, my dad's, my kids, everything. I did the right thing. No, I'm kidding.
So then, Mike, the question to you would then be, why not just use a small size toothbrush? You get those little travel toothbrushes, huh?
No, but then the head of that toothbrush is very small.
It's small, and also the girth. Sorry, now this is not a sexual analogy. The girth is not correct. The feel is all. You need that fat size thing, but you don't need it that long. Listen, this is going on.
Oh my God, this sounds
I know. I apologize.
Were you ever a fan of electric toothbrushes? The electric ones.
Yes, but the problem is that I destroy everything, so it's too expensive to keep electric toothbrushes. So
okay.
Only the cheap ones.
You get those also in half. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
3 odd ones.
It's a gift, Silverie.
Have they not gotten really cheap? I think electric toothbrushes were like a couple of $100 more than like a regular toothbrush.
Wow, you even know the price of toothbrush?
Because I actually needed to buy one yesterday.
Huh.
I literally bought a toothbrush yesterday.
Don't be aggressive about this rejoinder from yourself, but wouldn't it be better to use your toothbrush on your head?
On my head, no. I mean, like that's a different kind of brush you generally would use, not a toothbrush.
What a lovely joke that was, and nobody picked it up. How insensitive you people are to me. I'm saying for Amit's bald scalp, it makes sense to use a toothbrush, Kajol.
No. That's not, if I was judging you at an open mic, I would just throw you out at this point.
But you throw me out with half a mic? Half a mic?
So not funny and not accurate either, right? Because I don't use any brush right now, so why would I use a toothbrush? It takes more work.
No
Okay,
idea.
veiled rejoinders now. I'm getting beaten, my black eyes swelling. Oh, stop it. Listen, I am going through what you have gone through before. Of patchy hair, and in certain angles, people telling me, somebody, you know how they do it? I just shot something after a long time in a proper studio and all that last week. And the one guy's telling, the lighting guy's telling the cameraman, oh, bald spot dekh sakta hai idhar se. Like that. Just 1 inch from my ear. Such a mean thing to say in such a clinical fashion. Oh, bald spot dekh sakta hai, bald spot. Hey, make up. Aja, cover karo, kala karo. It's just the way they do it, you know, and you're thinking, oh God, that's it.
I think there is a difference between the way. So the thing is that in your case, you're not completely aware of your bald spot, whereas most people who they are probably dealing with are obsessive about checking like each and every nook and cranny of their face and every part of them, right? So they probably know that the bald spot is there, which is why the insensitivity came in.
But
right?
they also light. See, they light from top sometimes, and but they shoot from front. So
Right.
they light from top, and they act like, you know, now they've discovered, you know, something spectacular. You know, this is unbelievable. But nobody actually sees that part unless you actually put your head down like that. It
No,
just
Cyrus. On Twitter, they'd have seen it, okay? And then there have been the screenshots going out saying, oh my God, look at Cyrus's bald spot. So yeah, they have a point.
Revive my career. I think it's a good idea. Anyway, coming soon, you two. Women, yes, women, Kajol, please understand. Women go, I'm telling you, I've done this theory and I've been practicing it in my life. Women become men. I'm telling you this as you age.
I think I was born a man, just my hair is long. But
You're very much a woman now. Don't laugh and make jokes. Because
I
10,
don't
15,
think
20
like
years.
women. I don't think if you had broken my toothbrush, Cyrus, I'd have been like, wow. You know,
Every time
I have hang-ups that way.
then why didn't you marry me? I'm the kind of guy who likes no hang-ups. Really. You know, and may I just say this? I hope my wife never hears this, but might as well, you know, use this as therapy. We didn't have a problem when we were younger, as a young couple. I have shared a toothbrush, you know, and I mean, you shared saliva and more. You've had children. So I suddenly, where this prudish behavior started. Now, though, I can't. The towels, she puts my towel in my mother's washing machine. It's not being washed with the family's towels because I scratch too much and have rashes. I mean, I'm treated like a leper. Forget COVID. I'm the COVID guy in the middle of everything here in the house. How they change? What happened to all that, you know, you use mine, it's okay, whatever. Silverie, this is for you. Okay? You have young love in Indonesia, Bali.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, enjoy it. Because 10, 15 years down the line, you're going to have your separate towel, separate room, separate this, separate that, and you'll be masturbating for the rest of your life, boy. Rest of your life. And whatever they say about great porn, end of the day, you're a loser. Because everybody has the same access, and that's all you've done with your social life. Saturday night, you, a glass of beer, little bit of football, and porn. That's it. What a fuck up. Really. I'm really disappointed, Silver. I expected more. This is you in the future. Back to the show. What have we got?
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. This has been
Kajol came on and changed the
wonderfully
dynamics. Once I saw her, I've got a lot of complaints. She represents the other gender. So poor thing, unnecessarily. I know it's wrong, but what do we do? Yeah. And who do I vent to? There's no one to talk to. Nobody cares. My friends don't want to hear my stories. Yeah, no, stop making fun of your wife. That's it. That doesn't change.
Yeah, I think I need to book Kajol in for once every month so you can rant out your frustrations with your wife.
Silverie, we've had no females on the show, bro. Even guess. I mean, we had one. I remember that one girl who's a mind reader, a body language reader. What and who else?
Oh,
really struggling.
Aditi was Aditi.
Yeah, Aditi. Through COVID, we've not had. Honestly, the figures are ghastly. If I had to suddenly become one of those pseudo-feminist males trying to, get lucky with the ladies pretending to be a feminist, which is many of us, Silverie included, I would just say, right off the bat, we've not got a list of, there's just no women.
I'll get more. Yeah.
I get more, says the Punjabi boy from Powai. And winks into camera.
You want women now. Fine.
Wow. This time don't go all the way to Indonesia, bhai. Powai mein milega. Sorry. What's up? What do we do?
Should we just get into topics?
Let's get into topics. Let's do it. Oh, wow. Okay, we're starting topics like 10 minutes into the show. Never happened before.
But we have got nothing out of Kajol so far in terms of how her life's been. Shouldn't we give her 5 minutes?
Kajol, why don't you give him the answer you just asked me?
Yeah. Okay, so my life has been fuck all. Okay, I'm tired of saying I'm okay with the pandemic and it's nice, it's not bad. It's fuck all. I am tired of the pandemic. I'm tired of being at home. I want to be out.
I agree with you totally. I thought I've taken it further. I'm starting on like an underground movement of anti-mask, anti-sanitizing, anti-everything. People saying, forget it now. Get the damn COVID and get it over with. Because this is just not ending. It's just going on and on. Sometimes you just want to take the beating. The bully standing there and you're hiding every day and going by the long route. Forget it. Let's just go into the bully, get it, hammer me, beat me up, and then, it's done.
Okay, that's Pedder Road talking, or wherever you're staying, Cyrus. I'm bang in the middle of a red zone. Okay, so
where are you?
Kandivali.
I was in Kandivali. I shot in Kandivali the same day that poor naval officer got beaten up or whatever.
But even I think even we're in a red zone. I think even D-Ward is a red zone right now.
I don't know if we're a red zone, but
I read something recently saying that again, it's a building society WhatsApp group around COVID stuff. But over there was a message that came in, like a circular came in, that D-Ward has been declared red zone.
But you're like reading circulars, na, Papa? I have the lobby shut off and disinfected when they take a case out of
they are like Nazi Germany attitude. What I'm saying is that whatever's happened, they've not changed your lifestyle in the last 2 weeks. The shops are open. Everything has remained the same.
Fair, yeah.
The buildings who have it also, the guys are inside their flats. That's it. Nothing is really shut.
No, you're not allowed to stay inside anymore. No, you have to go to a hospital.
No. They've asked, like Mohit Mahale, by the way, my studio has it now. Proper studio.
Really?
So first we weren't going to shoot, but now they've got a new crew, so we are. But he's asymptomatic. No, Kajol, that's important. I want to get out, like you said.
So
I'm convinced I'm asymptomatic, okay? Because I've just met too many people, and so I don't care honestly anymore.
The 9th floor of my building is right now quarantined, and they are also quarantined at home, myself.
Yeah.
Is it really? So this came out like 3 weeks ago or so, and the reason I'm aware of this is because
listening to WhatsApp forwards.
No, not WhatsApp forwards. This
Take
is like
off your
two people
pant,
I know.
Show me your bottom.
In my building, when we had it, right at that point in time, the people who got it in the building were allowed to home quarantine. Somebody who we work with, basically the accountant for our company, right? He's a part-time accountant who works for a number of other people. He tested positive and he was told that he has to go to a hospital no matter what.
Because he's over 50 maybe, right?
No, he's not. He's 42, 43, something like that.
We have many cases in my lane. They've all been in their flats and they're all fine in 2-3 days, but they stay 14 days.
Yeah, so that's same what happened in my building, right? The people who got it in my building, same thing, right? They were in the flat, locked in for the 15-day period, but they were all fined 3-4 days out of it, right? We've been lucky, I guess, in that sense. But there was a notification done, or like, Maharashtra government said that in Mumbai, if you have COVID, you can't home quarantine anymore. You have to go to the hospital.
This is not the same government who sent some extremely intellectual and sophisticated representatives of the government to beat up the naval officer for forwarding something.
Well, that is, it is, so that was not part of that was,
card-carrying members of the party, brother.
Party, yeah, exactly. No, there was a party.
In a way, you're a leg of the government because you're representing the same party that's running the government.
True.
You can't get away from that.
That is true. And I don't want that. I don't think they should get away, right? I think that people who basically go out and commit this kind of violence.
I can't believe you have to support Arnab. It's come down to that. What the hell's going on in this COVID?
There's the saying, just for this, right? A plague on both your houses or all your houses.
Yeah.
It literally is that, and we're in the middle of a plague. So it is appropriate from all angles. See, if I was a comedian, I could have turned that into a night joke, but I can't.
You are a comedian. Thank God you're a comedian because nobody else is on this panel. I can guarantee you that.
Sorry, just a quick thing on the hospital thing. Aren't they also saying there aren't enough hospital beds? So how can everyone be asked to go to hospital?
Not in Mumbai.
No. We're running out of hospital beds. If you get COVID, like my friend's cousin got COVID, getting a bed in a hospital itself is quite a process.
Including bribing and all, boss. Let's face it, all the time, COVID warrior, the nobility of great people. There's so much bad shit happening nobody wants to talk about. You've got to pay, you don't have money, you won't get the bed, etc., etc. I mean, nothing has changed. And as it goes longer, I think the worst part of our nature, initially the better part came out maybe, but I think that'll just be exposed now. I'm a little scared. And then I hear stories in Canada and all where people are having a much better life. And I think there was a time, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, that time's gone. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, even in other parts of the world, people are still very much stuck the way they were, right? I mean, like, they have better spaces, they have more open spaces, so they're able to do more things, but they're still very much stuck.
No, but coming back to this whole WhatsApp forwarding thing, as far as the newspapers go and whatever we see on the channels, which are also not to be trusted anymore, it's very clear what Silverie said, which is try and self-regulate the situation as far as possible. So wherever, like Kajol said, if they're older or whatever and the situation demands, then you go to hospital. But mostly, at least in the upwardly mobile areas, they're asking people to just stay at home and do your thing. And, we trust you that you'll make the right decision and then come out once you're fully okay after a buffer period of many days. So there's no question.
But Cyrus,
that's what's
everybody
happening.
Doesn't want to reveal. Like, some people are staying in joint families if the brother has COVID. Yeah. They're not revealing it and they're still going out.
Or if the brother is the brother. That also they have to reveal. There was all kinds of stories in these joint families. Yeah. No, you're right. So it's also about human nature. Like, you and I think, can't bear the idea of being locked up. So in that case, it's going to be very hard for us to say whatever. But I have in my building and our buildings where these slightly more goody-goody sort of people who are very happy and they send on WhatsApp, I will now spend an extra week here. So that's 3 weeks to make sure that nobody gets anything and to make sure the infection is completely gone, which is also pointless. They're like the guys in school who always put their hand up. Teacher, let me answer. It's like that. So now we can't slap them anymore. Yeah, we can't slap them. It's wrong. So you have to just, wow, you're sacrificing another week for us. Wow, great, super. But I don't know why I want to throw up, honestly. I just want to vomit.
Yeah, I feel the same, right? I mean, like, I think that, people are annoying, right? Because the fact that so many people are hiding this stuff is just aggravating. And on the flip side, you have both sides of it, right? And you really see that in everything, right? You see the people who are hiding it and the people who are oversharing. Both of those exist.
I won't mention where I'm staying exactly, but we had the BMC come in one day and paste a board outside our society saying flat number so-and-so has COVID. Okay?
But that they do.
No, 1 second. But the dude in flat number so-and-so had gone to buy vegetables. So when he came back, he said, I have COVID. When did this happen? and he was ambushed by these BMC dudes and the police. It was such a big...
But did he have it? Had he done a test?
No.
He just made it up?
Yeah.
Because he's vegetarian. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Silverie, help me. He went to buy vegetables. His crime was vegetables. Fine. Pasao, take in. That's it. Game, set, match. Djokovic. Unbelievable.
But someone else in the building had it? Or
was it a mistake of numbers?
Flat number wrong?
Yeah, flat number wrong.
At that point, in our society, with 1,000 people almost, we've just had 3 cases in the entire lockdown. It's been a very well managed.
1,000 people in your society?
It's a gated society of many buildings.
What is the society called? Goa? How many people live here?
No,
maybe I've got that. No, but that should be the right number.
2,000 people, only 3 cases, not bad, yeah? What is that?
It's a very... We've had the gates locked up since the beginning, yeah. So this was obviously a misunderstanding, and then the society members came to the gate and there was a big shout off.
With who?
With the BMC.
Because they got the guy wrong. I would think so.
You can't paste a board up there.
I would think so. Of course they can't. That's ridiculous. How can you invent a name?
Even if there is, we've had cases in the building. I mean, right now, a case was evacuated last week. But you can't put a board outside. I don't know how legal that is.
I know what you're saying. It reminds you of Nazi Germany and the Jewish. I know exactly where you're going with it. But one second, just 1 sec. I also didn't like that from the beginning, but nobody said that, that's sharp culture of putting the mark, because it starts giving you that feeling of a prisoner or, humiliation.
And that's why people start hiding it, If you're going to make it so humiliating.
That's what.
Yeah, correct.
But this mistake was in March. We're treating them like, they've got it, thank God.
Right, I'm going to disagree with both of you over here, completely, God. Right? And I'll tell you why, right? So one is the attitude that this is like something that you should be humiliated by. It should not be the one that the society propagates or the government. But the government should not play to that, right? Now, the fact is that by putting a notification saying that this is an area, this is a space where there is some COVID infection there, right? There's a flat, there is this. It leads you to be a little more careful when you're going through that, when you're passing through that space, right? You'll be a little more careful. You'll not touch some stuff. You'll keep your hands in your pocket.
But Amit, you can say there is a COVID case. You don't just mention the flat number. Yeah, that's literally like
it's like a flag of the fallen,
But that's what they did that on our floor,
it's like
right? So they didn't do it outside the building. They did it on our floor. Outside the floor, they put it.
So even in the entire society, we have a bulletin board where we know where the cases are, but it's not for the outside world to know. We're not really allowing them in.
We have pedophiles and rapists in buildings, and nobody puts a mark saying a rapist. In America, they do apparently, but in India, no, nothing. And my very building has, well, I won't mention.
No, maybe that was Kangana Ranaut's house. So they were like, okay, let's just harass her more. Let's go for it.
They did a very good job. They said, forget, we've got a better way to deal with COVID. We'll destroy the building with people in it. That's it. I think that was spot on. Which reminds us, you do have some formal conversation to have. By the way, Amit, she was next to us on Sunday when she met the governor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the governor's house is here between you and me.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
So here's my point.
Governor's house is 200 meters from my house. As a crow flies.
You can literally walk, can't you?
Yeah. No, I can't walk, but I mean, like, I can see it, right? I mean, like, it's basically the governor's house, the mansion itself is right behind Banganga, and I'm on the other side of Banganga. So it's literally like less than 200, 300 meters away from my house.
Well, but if you... Yeah. Go on.
No, but I mean, like, I did not know that is where she had gone.
Well, she was very much there, and the funny thing is, she said she's just like a common Indian citizen going to meet the governor. And I was just thinking, Amit lives 100 meters away. If he wants to go meet the governor, calls up the governor, what's governor going to say? Usko bolo nahi hai, ghar mein nahi hai, main kaam nahi karne idhar. Badal gaya governor, wo nahi hai. None of us can meet the governor. No aam aadmi bugger walking outside, hey governor, mere ko chai pilao. It's never going to happen. But this lady, as a common Indian, I will knock on the door and, God, it's hilarious.
Did you guys see the video of her in the airport?
Without
the Y security.
With the Y security?
12 hardiest men of India.
It was crazy, right? I mean, I've never seen any security like that ever in my life. I've never seen like chief minister, governor, prime minister, anybody, like literally like 12 people circling around like ringa rosies around her.
It's only like 10
walking, right?
10 Indian citizens, upstanding citizens who have this. If I'm not off the beat here.
15 total.
I think the number's a little higher. But yeah.
Come on, Amit, 15 out of 1.3 billion.
Yeah.
I have Vijay downstairs for the last 25 years with a stomach this big. I'm a lovely guy, but anyone will get past that.
Then did you guys also see the video of the flight with the reporters who were just there in the same flight as her?
Yeah.
That is pandemonium. What is everyone doing?
No, but Silverie, think about what the parents of those reporters are thinking of how well they've done their children, sitting in a crowded aircraft during COVID and trying to talk to a Hollywood starlet, Bollywood starlet about something ridiculous at the end of the day.
One of the funniest things I saw this week was a video. So they were breaking down her office, right? Kangana's office, the BMC people. One guy dressed in a khaki.
The postman.
Yeah, you saw that.
I put that on a show. I put it on a show as the perpetrator. Because these stupid journalist idiots are shoving the mic in and asking him why he posted the letter, the demolition order, why he said
that.
What the fuck is supposed I mean, you're a journalist. You're asking the postman why he's doing his job of posting. What the fuck is that? Like, he knows exactly what's in there and he's giving the order. I mean, I can write fuck you to my grandmother, put it in a letter and send it, and it's the postman's fault. That's the logic of this. Oh, God, Jesus. And the poor guy, I wish we could play that clip. I don't know if you can play at least a soundbite. All he's saying is, "Main postman hu," this voice. "Main postman hu." He's begging them. Idiots, I'm a postman. You can't find anyone else. Shoot the fucking postman. Come on. Jesus. That was hilarious. Silverie, we died laughing. I had to put it in the show. It was just the best thing ever. India at its finest. Indian journalism at its finest. We have not raised the bar. No one's better than us. And one man has done it independently. Almost.
Well, I mean, like,
Well, look at it this way. They couldn't find any money trail. They couldn't find any abatement to suicide. They couldn't find murder. They couldn't find anything, actually. So they've gone for drugs. Which they will find, because we all know Bollywood has these druggy parties and people have drugs, But not to condone drugs ever, but is it the worst crime, really? I mean, in the middle of COVID, they'll go after people smoking ganja and this and that. I mean,
59 grams. 59 grams of
59 grams?
That's
Silverie has that in his top pocket right now. Kajol, I swear by God, if you don't check that pocket.
No, it's empty. It's empty.
Sala, niche ka pocket mein hoga. Please don't say it's in Indonesia because there's death sentence, by the way. Be very careful for everyone.
Yeah, there is a death sentence, correct.
Including Crocin. You can't have a headache. Yeah.
What?
It's drugs, no?
Drugs.
Drugs are drugs, man.
Because selective loving is not good. It's like people only like their own dogs. You got to love all the dogs. You're a dog lover. You can't be, I like my dog Tony. I don't like your dog, he's poor. What the fuck? Fuck off. Kajol, chat more, na? I miss girls.
Man, if you
Does
want
that
to
sound
watch the
creepy?
video, I have it
A
loaded now.
naked man telling you I miss girls from far away during COVID. I'm so sorry. It does sound now when I think of it. It's absolutely creepy.
Speaking of croissant, there's this interesting fact that there's normal croissant and then there's advanced croissant which gets rid of your headache faster.
Oh, is it?
Okay. Yeah.
It's called Combi Flam.
But why do we...
They're
No,
both croissant.
yeah.
So why do we need it? Okay, so I did this joke where I said they tried to remove the old croissant, but married women didn't allow them to.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. And without being married. It's so true, the stereotype, I can't tell you, really. Yeah. Why don't people just say that sex is an issue of novelty? After some time, there's no novelty, there's no sex. So just get on with it, man. They should just put an ad. After 10 years, your sex life is over if you're married. Just 10 or maybe 5, God knows.
So I put this out on Twitter. And the guy who was in charge of the marketing for croissant at that point, he said this is so hilarious because we had actually planned to give a pack of condoms with the advanced croissant. That was one of the ideas that came out. It got bounced.
I think it's a great idea. We're not ready for it, I suppose, in India.
We're not ready for it.
Yeah. We all like it, and somebody will hold the dharna and break some cafe where no comedian has performed in the last 15 years. To show the angst.
It's like in India, you can do almost everything besides sex. Sex is the main taboo here.
Yeah. Rioting is fine. You can break and destroy everything. You can hit people. You can color their faces. Nobody gets arrested.
Because
but you dare have sex
you're
with your
just
own wife.
offended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Of course. I mean, you must be offended. No, I mean, that is the most frustrating thing about this, right? People with their unwillingness to be offended about anything, right? It's just like, oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm going to go and break some shit now.
I don't think they really have feelings. It's just like, when you're really dumb, you just think emotionally. You have just no intellectual capacity. When you're maybe when you're 3, just think back to 3 or 2 or something. So your reaction is what? Is everybody around you saying, Maro, 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 Maro. They don't even know exactly who or what happened. That's not important. Detail baad mein. Building ka naam idhar hai, chacha ko maro. And what he did exactly, who cares?
Yeah. After a point, I think it becomes, these are taught reactions. Like the reactions you are taught to have about a certain issue.
Let's take it further. I think they should have it in curriculum. It should be a diploma, at least maybe a full degree course. You can be a professional rioter, and these are the different, qualities we want from you. You have a written exam, you have a theory, and you have a practical, where you go to perhaps westernized Indians in doing stand-up comedy and beat them up. I suppose that would be one thing that would make sense. Silverie, be careful. Coming soon.
I personally have a view that all of these riots and mobs, even if it's a Twitter mob, is never about the actual offense because most of the crowd does not know what the actual offense was. It's just about getting attention. It's about getting your 2 minutes of attention.
And sometimes people are angry about something else and it gets translated into this. Because their mind is, they couldn't park the car properly and they banged it into another car and next thing you know, it just gets misplaced anger. Sometimes it's all just a series of errors, comedy of errors that seem to happen.
So I also think that a lot of it is basically it's this polarization piece, right? Where everything is in America it's left and right, in India it's BJP and anti-BJP, and these are your these are your kind of points of polarization.
May I just add one thing to your point before you finish, which is also psychophancy, which is very Indian. See, psychophancy is in our DNA. We are born with the caste system. G, sir. So you must not abuse the sir. Sometimes the sir may not even know. But if you abuse the sir who is God, then we must do something about it. Even though it may not be a real abuse, but for us it's an abuse. Who cares? Psychophancy is a very sick thing in India. Except that my name sounds like that, psychophancy. Other than that, I can't think of any reason for it.
I also think it's some kind of release. When you have fight scenes in movies where this guy who's taking on the system and bashing the shit out of them, you can see the way the whole theater cheers. Okay, and I feel that now that we've had Netflix and we've all come back to watching stuff on our own, that communal how do you say that venting your feelings in a group of people has gone.
So Kajol, I took it the other way. When I was young, I would go for Manmohan Desai films and all that, especially Amitabh Bachchan films, exactly what you're talking about. And I would cheer in the theaters with the crowd when, the Zamindar would get beaten up and all for all his evils. But as I made a little money in life, I started crying when these scenes would happen. My empathy just changed completely. And when he was molesting the heroine, I would be clapping. I would be like, hey, that's my guy. Oh, terrible thing to say.
Listen, Cyrus, if you're going to make us believe that Parsis ever empathized with a poor person in the please. Like sitting in my 5-bedroom house. No.
What did Bollywood give the Parsis? He speaks bad Hindi, wears a funny feta, and cleans a car. And his car is driven off, or his bike is driven off. That's all. They talk like that. It's really unfair.
Dinesh Ingu, man. Dinesh Ingu.
Dinesh Ingu, poor chap, who's Sindhi, by the way. They wouldn't even let poor Baba do it. Till John Abraham broke all the stereotypes. And well, performed like only John Abraham can. And, that's left a legacy which now the Parsis are trying to unravel.
All right, nice.
Let's stop here and go into a break.
I want to thank Intel for supporting our show. Do you remember when last year we spoke about how the Intel vPro platform is built for business? Well, I'm glad to say we've kicked things up a notch. That's right, Intel is back with a new and improved version of the platform. Optimized with 10th generation Intel Core processors, the platform is just what IT and business users need, especially in times like now when most of us are working from home. The new Intel vPro platform lets you do more of what you want and less of what you don't. So it's better for you and for your IT teams, who really are the backbone of keeping your work from home experience easy and enjoyable. The platform is built to minimize your efforts and maximize your PC productivity, especially when working from home. I can safely say that the new vPro platform gives you more enterprise efficiency with less constraints. Visit intel.in/morewithvpro, that's VPRO, to discover how you can get more done with less waiting. If you're listening on the IVM Podcast Android app, take a look at the screen right now and you'll see a link which will take you directly there.
Okay, welcome back. We've got the same panelists, unfortunately, but lots more to talk about.
Okay, so in Agra, there was a Mughal Museum which is under construction. And through a nod from Yogi Adityanath, it has been changed to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum. The name of the Mughal Museum, which was, again, still under construction, but the name of the Mughal Museum has been changed to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum.
And in UP, he's just passed a law where he can detain you, almost like the Tada law, without any explanation.
But if they're sure of the crime, then if they're sure.
But you know what that means. It's from their side. When law is one-sided, what law is that?
There's no law.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm sure of everything. I'm never unsure about anything. So, I mean, like, that's the
it also explains the Vikas Dubey killing. They're sure of his crime.
They're sure,
so,
yeah.
We can't argue that. He tried to flee and they shot him. That's what they say. That's it. We accept it. Who's going to argue? Sorry, coming back to the whole Mughal thing. I think the Mughals are in trouble with this BJP government. I've tried to save history, but every day some joker somewhere in India wants to just, no, let's give the other guy the victor. He'll win the war. And they just, page 42 of the textbook, rewrite it, abhi ye haar gaya, ye jeet gaya. I mean, it's just hilarious. Just do what they want.
Yeah, the reason that was cited by Yogi Adityanath was, and this is a quote, Mughals can't be our role models. That's literally what he said.
Right. Secularism and Yogi Adityanath is always something which correlate. And also,
it's not just him specifically, right? I mean, like, it is basically the strain of religious populism which seems to want to deny history in every freaking aspect, right? I mean, like, it's just like, hey, history is what we want it to be. It's a story, right? So then why does it have to have any kind of relationship to the truth?
And they've got to get over this Mughal complex. So they came. Lots of people came to this land. Who knows who actually came first? Even the Aryan invasion is sometimes questioned. The entire southern history, as was pointed on the podcast by two of our eminent writers who've been on the podcast, South history, which is so rich, perhaps richer than North history, has been just relegated. We've discussed all the great kings and all the, the Cholas and the Pallavas, and you don't even mention them. Their empires being larger than anything in the North. But, just relegated completely. And in the meantime, this Mughal invasion that came, and before that, the Afghans, the Turks, and all that who have come before, the Persians came, the Greeks came. For God's sake, what's the big deal? This happened. We're all a mix of all that. Look at Silverie, he looks like a Greek, for God's sake.
I personally think it's all politics. It doesn't have much to do with people's real feelings.
But what kind of leaders are out there, Kajol? You got to understand, you can't play with history, right? That's why I'm slightly against this breaking down of statues in Canada and US and all about these slave owners and slave traders. You can trace Washington to this, that. But my point is, you can't deny their place in history. You can say there was a black mark. You can say this was there. You have to judge them according to the times. You can't have emotional reactions. They pull the statue down. He represents everything that's anti-black. I just think that's a very unintellectual exercise after some time, and that is pointless. Because you can't deny.
No, I will disagree with you there. I do understand why should a slaver be having...
Sorry?
Why should a slaver be having a statue? Okay, I get that.
It was the time they live in.
But we are living in different times, so we can...
It's like saying Genghis Khan was the worst monster ever. No, he wasn't. To the time, in that century, he was as bad or as good as anybody.
Yeah, but we're not in that century
he was more
anymore.
successful, so he was probably worse, right?
In that sense.
No one is saying change the history books. But the monuments and the icons that you have,
But they built their countries. That MacDonald fellow whose thing they want to pull down was the first Prime Minister of bloody Canada. Sorry, not bloody Canada. We need a visa. Lovely Canada. Yeah, beautiful Canada. Canada, what is the line in the anthem?
I think it's "Oh Canada, my Canada."
Oh, Canada, my Canada, etc., etc., etc. Back to the point. So they want to pull down that McDonald's thing because apparently, exploitation of blacks, slavery, no, 100%. But everybody did that. That's how they built that country initially. You can't
I
deny
get
that.
it.
The faceless, nameless, others. What about them who did the same thing?
So I think I kind of fall a little bit more on Kajol's side over here in the sense that I don't think that no. So I want to split the baby, but slightly more towards Kajol's
Go
side, right?
split the baby.
No, I like splitting babies. But a little more on Kajol's side, right?
This is the most politically incorrect show I've ever been on.
In the sense that I think that while I agree that we don't deny history and we never should deny history, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have monuments to peoples whose achievements are based on what we know today.
They built those two countries on the backs of all the colored people of the world, including the Chinese immigrants who built the railroads, including the odd Indians and everybody else who went there. So, I mean, I don't know. Where do you tell me, except for Lincoln? Before Lincoln, and a few guys who opposed it, like John Brown and all, and whose kids went about shooting slavers. Other than that, that was par for the course, right?
It was par for the course, and I'm not saying that you deny that these people had contributions to make, right? But necessarily, one of the compromises suggested in some places, right, was move the statues from public squares into museums. I dig that idea. I think that makes
like
sense.
that very
You're
much.
looking at a compromise. Okay, so I will accept that in the spirit of not being a rabid maniac until I come to power. Then I'll
Okay,
change.
fair enough. No, but again, like the thing is that you have, some of these statues that are out there, right? Now, McDonald might be a more controversial figure, but there are people whose statues are out there, like the founder of the Ku Klux Klan has a statue out there.
No, but that's ridiculous. Okay, now that's a complete racist.
But again,
It's the
these
same thing.
statues.
Slavery is the most racist thing.
No, of course it is. But the point is, everybody did that. So he doesn't stand out as being evil amongst evil. Evil was par for the course.
Right.
But these guys stand out because they actually lead the evil charge with their mad, Aryan supremacy crap and all that nonsense, which just fed so much hatred, which is completely, raised that evil bar.
On a similar note, though, like what if they had a museum for comedy and they put Bill Cosby's statue there? They couldn't.
See, this is a very good point you raised because, all the time, grandfather of comedy.
Exactly.
People like Seinfeld and all have said, greatest ever. Norm Macdonald said greatest ever and all that. Of course, they made fun of him once this all came out. But you can't deny his place as a comedian.
Yeah.
As a comedian. And what he's done.
Can you separate artist from art, right? Is that I think we already brought up the word Usual Suspects, right? I was listening to a podcast about the Usual Suspects. Great movie, right? Phenomenal movie. But think about like the two most important people in that movie, or two most important people for making that movie. Kevin Spacey, Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer was a director, right? Two most important people. Now, does that affect the way that you watch a movie like that?
Oh, that way. Acha, got it.
So I mean, it has nothing to do with them, and I don't think it would affect the way that I watch that movie.
I saw House of Cards after Kevin Spacey's entire thing broke, and I could not get my eyes off him in House of Cards. It's a very grey zone,
Yeah.
No, one sec. So you'll boycott everything Kevin Spacey ever did?
No,
If incidentally on a plane a Kevin Spacey movie comes up?
No, Cyrus. I said I saw House of Cards after Kevin Spacey's allegations had come out. I'm just saying that I wouldn't build a statue to Kevin Spacey. I probably would not want it.
I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't know what to say.
Because art and artist, right? Can you separate? Picasso was a horrendous person in real life, right? I mean, the number of artists throughout history who have been really, really shitty people is not small.
Whole of Bollywood.
Well, I mean, it's all over the place, man.
Anchors.
Well, we've had so many in Bollywood also. We've had some really, really shitty people who made some really, really interesting work, right? So, I mean, the question really does come down to that. How can you separate the art from the artist? And I think that you should be able to.
He was like the father of the country in a sense.
Exactly.
And he had that father figure. He made his daddy books and all that, and and he played a doctor and all. Morally upright man. If you guys have seen Cosby Show. I suppose you've seen some episodes.
So I've seen it, but I think the thing with Cosby is that his thing's a little different in this sense, right? The Cosby Show specifically.
Yeah.
The perception of what the character that he plays in that show is so diametrically opposite to what he has turned out to be in real life.
Strong imprint on the American mind for generations.
But it's almost
play and replay.
But if you watch it now, it's almost impossible to separate those two things.
Now,
right?
because now the scandal, like Kajal just said, the scandal is in your head. So whatever way you're watching, it doesn't leave your head. So
No,
you're
but I
looking at
think-
Kevin Spacey and
I said that with the scandal being out there, I still loved House of Cards and I loved Kevin Spacey in it. I saw it.
yeah, but
only
I'm
for
saying
him.
that you still subliminally that's there in your head, no? When you're watching
It's
it all
there,
the time.
but I think
it's like
I
a
just
little
felt
ticker.
I felt
But where-
bad about it later.
Well, where I think it gets
You felt
disturbing,
bad
right?
that you watched and enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I felt bad about enjoying it that much. Yes.
I think it could be the number of years apart. Like maybe if they're making a museum, say 50 years down the
Statue of
line, when people,
limitations. Lovely.
like no, like 50 years down the line, when nobody is thinking about the Bill Cosby accusations, at that point, if someone were to make a statue of him, there wouldn't be as much backlash, or people
Or if
wouldn't think about it
DNA,
that
a new form of DNA comes out and proves that the allegations are wrong, all the women molested themselves after sedating
much.
themselves.
That's not.
And then he's off the hook.
But actually, Antariksh, I think it's more likely, given what we've seen, that the further away you get, the less you have people who have personal relationships with the material that you're talking about, right?
That's
The Cosby Show 30 years from now will only be seen by people as an artifact of that time, right?
Yeah,
They're
but in
never
the
going to
comedy
have a personal
fraternity,
connect with it.
especially American comedy fraternity, this man was looked up to by all the greats of today.
Well, I
Growing up,
was,
he's the big bop.
So
He really was.
No, so, but I mean, dude, actually, he was in some ways, yes, but at the same time, the fact that he is this scuzzball has been known for a long time, right? I was listening to.
You mean it was known? He was known to do this by the industry.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan on one podcast said that he first heard about this when he was working on news radio, that Bill Cosby did this. Before that, I think this was with
So years before this.
years before this. Bill Maher, right, who was on that podcast
Bill
with
Maher
Joe
has
Rogan.
gone after him a lot.
Yeah, so Bill Maher and Joe Rogan, it was the same podcast, right? I mean,
Correct.
sorry, Bill Maher was the guest on Joe
I think
Rogan's
I've seen the
podcast. They
same
were
one,
talking this, and Bill Maher has known about that there has been problems with this guy's behavior since like the 80s. Right? And now, in some ways, I feel like, man, if you knew this shit, how is it that nobody, like, it's not just the fact that it didn't come out. It came out, and after
Right.
it came out, it became a big deal 10 years, 12 years after it came out.
Can I just quickly segue? Because I've tried the same thing. And Kajol, please don't get angry with me. I've tried the same thing when I was in my teens and all that. I used to try and get the women drunk first, to see what evil deeds I could do. And I never succeeded. I always got drunk before them. I just
I've never understood why guys see booze as some kind of horny tonic. Okay, it doesn't
Kajol,
work.
it doesn't work, but nobody tells us, and we are such buffoons that we tell the next generation to follow. I've told Silverie, just keep pillowing her. And the next thing you know, he's sleeping with a Chinese man on a railway platform, and he doesn't know what happened and why his bum is sore. And these things happen, and I feel sad that I've left down the generation. But what buffoons we are! Now tell us more about how buffoonish we were.
So, whenever guys ask me out for the first time and they're like, let's meet for a drink, Saturday evening, and I say I don't drink, then they're like, but, you know what, let's meet on Wednesday, I'm busy on Saturday. I never make it to the prime time Saturday, Sunday spots.
But
okay?
to be fair, it's a commerce issue here. You're going out for a night on the town and all that, and they want to splurge and whatever and invest a lot in the market. And if you're not going to play in the market, then that's like a wrong person to be
Listen,
with.
Cyrus, I don't know which circle you move in, but I've never had anyone splurging and investing in my market. It's always been separate bills. So,
What are you saying? Thank God for Bank of Vijaykar. I've gone all over and we paid for other people always. I mean, he's paid because I never carry money. But the point is, we are gentlemen,
I
right?
think
Silverie,
it is-
Amit? As gentlemen,
Well, I think it, honestly, yeah, no, I think I pay more often than not.
don't start the equality thing
It's
here,
not an
because equality
equality
really
thing.
should begin with the
No,
bill.
It's not an equality thing, but I think first date I've paid more often than not.
I've had guys split the bill with me and say, can I keep the bill because I have to claim it for my company?
Oh wow!
I hope you went on to marry these guys one after another.
I almost
That's
did
the only
one
way
of
to
them.
teach them a lesson. Trust me. That's where men lose all sense of reality once you marry them. Then you've got them by the scrotum literally forever. Yeah.
But Antariksh, what's the experience in the 20s? Is that the same thing, or is it split bills, or what?
No, it is still split bills. But the thing is, at least before going on the first date, the guy's at least thinking that he'll have to pay. Now, when you reach the date, then the girl says, okay, hey, let's split it. I would prefer if we split it. Then that's fine.
So
If the
that's
girl
what
sort of insists, but otherwise, I think, honestly, at least in my
Yeah.
generation,
Like
you
we always
paid-
go ahead, yeah.
No, so
Always go to-
I pay
See-
first, right? I mean, like I
Always,
offer to
yeah.
pay first. Sometimes there will be pushback saying, no, let's split the bill. I would prefer we split the bill and that. And so then I'll split it. I won't
Right.
argue that, no, I must pay. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the first thing is that, you pay.
Yeah.
You've not done this thing where you say, oh my God, is there an ATM nearby? Anywhere
I-
close?
You told
I've
us
never
the story. That's ridiculous. I can't believe that happened.
Women have gone to the washroom when the bill comes, though. That has happened a couple of times.
Hey, guys have gone to the washroom, okay?
Oh, but
The
you should come out and pay.
So basically, what we're saying is that there are people who go to the washroom when the bills show up.
Well, Kajol, you'll be interested to know, I used to use a theory when I started working with MTV. If I went out with a girl, I would say that you should pay because now I work on MTV and stuff. But the funny thing is, MTV has such low eyeballs at that point that nobody ever knew who I was. It was very painful. And they'd be like, yeah, but who are you? You know, everybody will remember Malaika or something. They're like, I don't know who you are. That didn't work either. But really, this is such a creepy thing. I swear I'm not lying about this. We used to get so excited with the girls coming over and all that. We wanted to pillow them so they get, it's not purely that you just want to have sex. You just want them to loosen up and be in the same frame of mind that you're in.
So basically what you're trying to say is that you didn't feel confident enough to impress them without their senses being dulled.
I did, but I also felt that I'm slightly out of control. So I need them to come up a little bit in body language. Because otherwise they're looking at some mad animated human being. Because I can't tell you the things I've done. And then the whole room, the 3-4 loudest, gregarious people take over a room, especially small rooms. And then a lot of girls are turned off because they're just too loud and badly behaved. So you want to keep everybody in the same frame of mind. For a drunken party to excel, that's why drugs do a better job than drinking.
What was that How I Met Your Mother episode with
Lorenzo
the
Sopranos? The playbook. The playbook.
The one with the girl from The Sopranos in it. Was it How I Met Your Mother?
Wow, the references.
The one with Lorenzo Von Matteron. The Lorenzo Von Matteron one?
I don't
I know
remember.
what Lorenzo's a
I
merchant
was
of
thinking about
Venice.
basically the woo girls, the girls that go woo kind of thing.
Oh my god.
That's the episode of The Bachelorette.
I can't remember what that was. No, dude, I've never watched The Bachelorette in my life.
Okay, listen, if you watch The Bachelorette, there is no
with the
shame.
Bachelorette party, sorry.
My mother watches
okay.
Bachelorette. Sometimes I lie down, put the AC on, and I'm forced to watch it. And I must say, after 5 minutes, I get into it. This is why people don't come out of the closet. If you're gay, you're gay. If you're this, just get on. Just get over with it. Yeah? It's not a big deal.
My problem with The Bachelorette is one more of mental pollution than anything gay or
What's
gay or
beautiful?
non-gay.
It shows America in a light where you feel, they're closer to us than you think.
I'd rather
Stupid people, silly conversations, fraudulent behavior, absolute bullshit, completely put together, conniving. And then they had the same bad expressions that some of our soap opera actresses have and actors, which I thought only we had, where they look into camera for hours with nothing happening. When they've run out of lines, I think this is what they do all over the world in soap operas.
I have a
Bolo,
problem.
kya hua? Whole 10 seconds. Haan, ho gaya, we got it, print.
I have a problem telling them apart, like facially. Don't you find that?
The bachelors.
The bachelorettes. Okay,
The female.
generally, when you have like about 10 or 20 women in the
Bitchy
same...
comment from the lady on the
It's
panel.
not a bitchy comment,
Extra
it is
bitchy
just...
on that. Boys never said anything about their looks. Looks ke baare mein kuch nahi bola hum log.
Okay, there is actually a show, a reality show, where they ask you what your soulmate is, and then they find you 7 identical people who match that criteria, who look identical.
Who look
Identical.
Or they turn out to look identical, qualities are the same.
They're found to look identical, but their inner person, because the whole idea behind the show is that if everyone looks identical, then what's inside really matters. Okay, it's crap.
Nice.
But
I'm hooked. When can I watch it?
I'll give you the link.
Yeah, what if you don't like any of them? like physically, by looks, you don't like any of them.
Silly
Like,
You
American.
ask for that. No. So they ask you for that. They ask you what your physical, your soulmate, how does he look?
But
Or
why
how does
can't
she
they
look?
call up Seema auntie like all Indians and just request for people? बाल देखने का भी सीमा आंटी बोलो कौन है कैसा है मेरे को शॉर्ट चाहिए फैट चाहिए व्हाइट चाहिए ब्लू चाहिए all the usual requests. I love Seema auntie.
I need to watch that. I really do need to watch
You
that.
haven't watched it?
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard
It's the only time my marriage looked healthy. The only time. I was like, God, Aisha, we aren't the worst couple in the whole world. Shit. Oh my God. I mean, you
Man,
have
if you
to,
guys,
beta, you have to compromise. Firstly, why do North Indians have to call the lady beta also? Because it's like, there's
Why
no give
do
to
guys
females.
have to call girls dude? Okay, I can't have a conversation with any comedian without like dude. I'm not dude.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, there are a few things which I could say.
What do you think about using the word guys as a collective noun?
Yeah,
I
you
hate
guys
it.
use guys.
I
Lots
like
of girls use guys.
I know, it's inbuilt, but I
So
hate
two
it.
and guys, what's the tomato here?
No,
Good point on it.
I'm changing it. I'm going for people. Hello, people.
But you
Yeah,
know what
like-
I think?
So-
If
So
somebody,
I saw this Twitter document, right, where they were trying to remove all of the kind of sexualized or racialized or anything of that nature from, like, they're this. So one of the things was, instead of guys, you should use folks. There's some stuff in computer technology, like, there's something called a master and a slave. When you're talking about replicating two hard drives, the main hard drive is called the master, and the slave is the hard drive that replicates off that automatically.
unnecessary.
So they're like, can we call that something else? And it was a really interesting document in that sense, because there are a lot of words. Some of it I thought was severely overblown. But when I was reading, I was like, a lot of words, yeah, okay, you know what? It's probably not a bad idea to change the way that you're using some of this stuff.
Hey,
But-
Amit, it's never going to end, man. We can't
It's
go on
never
like
gonna end.
this.
No, but it's never going to end. But I
It's
mean,
never
like,
gonna
there's
end.
some things which, it's
Silverie's
fine.
kids will do a stand-up show. Kajol and Silverie, once again, married and have children. The kids will be on stage and they'll start with disclaimer will be 40 minutes of the act.
So,
Well, I'm sorry.
but you know
I'm sorry,
what,
I'm sorry.
Cyrus, this shit changes, right? I did an episode of IVM Likes with Antariksh, right? Which is probably coming out the day right after this episode is coming out, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So,
correct,
hey,
yeah.
there we go. Plug for the IVM Likes. Please, everybody listen
You
to
don't have
IVM
to,
Likes.
because you put on this plug voice. Everybody knows now. It's a special voiceover
right.
voice you have.
No, but when we were doing that, right, we were talking about the show Law and Order, right? The 25-year-old, 30-year-old
like that.
show. Yeah, so I started watching that show, and I'm watching, like, I think it's the very first episode, right? And one of the cops calls a doctor of Indian origin a Ganga Din.
Ah,
That would never fly today.
Popular racist abuse in the 80s.
Yeah, no, so he was being portrayed as somewhat racist by using the language, but there's no way that would fly today, right? And I don't think I have an issue with that.
Ganga then is from the famous Kipling poem. But
is.
Anyway, by show off, the point is, I don't look. They're comedians. Ask them. If you straight and make the path so straight and narrow, what are you going to do?
It doesn't have to be straight and narrow, but I think you have to. There needs to be a direction to it, right? And
but then, then we are giving the direction, right? It's everyone's
You should.
personal view of what the direction is.
If you're coming for a
No.
comedy show, you cannot come with attitude. Then don't come.
Yeah.
Somebody's performing. The whole idea.
It's not that. No, it's not that.
Sorry.
I'll give my view on it. So this whole J.K. Rowling controversy,
The whole
right now.
transgender thing and all. Yeah.
So she's written a book about how a guy dresses up as a woman and kills. He's a murderer. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's this new furor which has hit Twitter because everyone's like, now you are endangering trans people. You're buying into the stereotype. Blah 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 blah. But so I'm okay
is
with.
this after her previous thing?
This is
or
today. This is today. This is
So
today.
this is okay, all right, wow. So it's just basically never ending for her, is it?
It's
Yeah.
never ending.
They finally
And-
found something they can catch her with, and they're just going after her all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would hate as a writer and as a performer, I would hate for people to tell me what path I should tread. But at the same time, when I get WhatsApp forwards like, and then the wife said, "Arey ho, give me some money," or something like that, when, they're portraying women as these age-old gold diggers, my blood boils. So I feel everyone has their own
Yeah, that's
zones.
fine. Everyone will take offense about something, and especially at a certain time in your life, they are sensitive to certain things. They not be forever.
Yeah.
Okay? Like your father just died. You don't want to hear jokes on somebody's father. It's just too touchy a topic. But that's what I'm saying. Don't come to a comedy store with baggage and attitude, because there's no point. So you'll just end up having a bad time, and everybody else as well.
People are people. I've come to the realization that if I don't like something, I can not like it and shut up about it. I don't have to go on a warpath, bringing the mob with me. That is not warranted.
I agree with that completely. I don't
I
think
just
anybody
think
ever
everything should be settled the old-fashioned way, finger punja. If you take offense, all right, you call the comic out, you put your two pinkies together, you keep the elbows down, you breathe in, and you pull. Very often people fall in love doing this. Silverie is a wonderful concept.
Okay.
It brings people together.
Okay.
The United Colors of Benetton. You guys should try it at the end of each show. Do you offend anyone, Kajal, when you do shows? Do you get any feedback like that?
Yeah, I've had one guy get up and say, "Main yogi ka bhanja hu." Shut up. Yes. Straight jokes.
You were in Lucknow?
No, I was in Andheri West. Okay, I had to run out through the kitchen exit. That was once.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've had that. I had one
The
joke
same guy
about-
at your shows
No,
as
not the
well.
same guy.
This time
Not the
he's
same guy.
Manmohan Singh's son. When does...
No.
Huh.
I had a joke about going to the movies in the morning and the national anthem playing, and that's just a part of my bit. And someone else said, "Hey, you can't talk about national anthem in your bit." And I'm like, "Dude, this is just a joke." And
You say they're not the Indian national anthem.
but it was the Indian national
You could have
anthem.
changed it. Like, it's German. And then you should have sung whatever anthem you want to. And leave it there. Yeah, God.
Can we cover one topic which is very funny? Sorry.
Well, this is an organic evolution of a podcast, which started literally with the whole idea of let's look at upbeat things and current affairs, blah, 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 look at the week and all that. And last few, Kajol, I think you've been on them before, we've done sweet F all. Sweet F all till the end. And then finally he begs for one topic to give it credibility. Go ahead.
So this is again a very funny story. There's a language called the Scots language, which is an indigenous language from Scotland. There's something called the Scots Wikipedia, which is basically Wikipedia in the Scots language. For the last 6 to 7 years, it has been run by one kid from America who does not know the Scots language at all. So he has just been going to some over 10,000, more than 10,000 plus articles this kid has edited in the last 6 to 7 years. He started at the age of 12.
But they caught him now.
They caught him now, but basically all he would do is go to these pages, like basically copy the English Wikipedia page to the Scots page, copy paste, and then basically just change like single lines into very stereotypical ways as how the Scots would speak it. Like so for instance, they want to say the Catholic Church is big in Scotland. He'll say he just change the spellings of words to sound like as if they're being said in Scottish. You know what I mean? So like
I could try and do north of England. I struggle with Scottish.
The Catholic Church.
Catholic Church is big in.
Exactly, he changed the spelling.
I can't get it right, Governor. I'll try my own.
10,000 plus more articles.
Let's just mention that Cyrus is nearly dressed like a Scots right now. So I think he can...
Just in a skirt, huh? Yeah, but I think he's got Indian blood. Because this kind of creative ability only we seem to have, Who cares about the authenticity of the product or anything like that? Let's keep going.
Years back, I seen a Jay Leno show where he read out a news article. Anil Rao was some gastroenterologist or whatever. And he's like, what better name to have than Anil Rao? Okay, so he didn't care either. He didn't give a shit.
But was it A-N-A-L or A-N-I-L? Because
it was A-N-I-L, but he pronounced it as anal because, he's American.
Okay. N-I-L, anal. Yeah, I can get that. That's acceptable. Fair enough.
So I'm going to read
one for America.
I'm going to read one line from one of the articles. It's just like, just to show how blatantly inaccurate it was.
Use your Scottish bird. That'll be half.
Yeah, so exactly. So it'll be like, the Roman Catholic Kirk is the largest Christian denomination in all the world.
Not bad, Silverie. Not bad at all.
That's literally what it's spelled as. He's changed the spelling of the word.
Delhi. It sounds like a guy from Delhi, okay?
Yeah. So
I think it's the same Anil Gupta guy. The doctor.
Anil Rao.
I would have to say, I don't think the accent's very authentic. I'm an expert on Scottish accents these days. I've been watching a lot of Scottish television.
Okay. Amit, let's hear your Scottish accent.
I don't have an accent. I'm not a comedian. I can't do accents. But I've been watching a lot of...
Everything I'm not a comedian. Next you say, I can't join politics, I'm not a comedian. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense too, yeah.
So apparently this kid contributed to more than 60% of Scots Wikipedia. So basically most of that site is his version of Scots language.
This sounds like Indian. This guy must be rewriting the history books for us as well. Just making it up as he goes along.
Exactly. So people have been going to the Scots Wikipedia, figuring out, oh, dude, Scottish is very similar to English. I'll manage in Scotland. And they reach like, dude, no, it's totally different. The dialect is different. So apparently, Scots people who live in that region have known that this is bullshit for years. And they're like, yeah, dude, Wikipedia, our Wikipedia is crap. You can't rely on it. But the world is just catching up to this now, and it's really funny.
But I like your accent.
You should ask women how Scotsmen sound.
What does that even mean? It's highly pornographic in some way, but I've not picked it up yet. Please tell me.
Do you want to do a Scottish accent? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that women know how it sounds because all the romantic novels that we get now, they all deal with the Scots. Okay, there's always this guy who looks kind of like Cyrus on the cover, except that he's wearing a skirt underneath. Okay, and there's this woman who's like got her bodice all unlaced, and she's like, oh my god. So yeah, all of these.
The Bronte sisters and all those that we grew up with, there's no Scottish influence. So
none of the Bronte sisters, for God's sake. These are like these soft porn romances.
Oh, you're
that
talking about the Wills and Boons kind of thing?
Yes.
Do they?
Yeah, of course.
So I thought you were going to all those Heathcliff and all those kind of characters, and they're all very British, Englishy characters. Dead Englishmen who don't speak and dark, sinister, good-looking in a strange way with no personality. Today you just call him guy with no personality. The guy who has a one-syllable answer for everything. I love those guys. I want that guy to be my friend, you know. You do all the talking. What do you think of nuclear disarmament? Can you go to the AMAs with the Scottish accent? I like it.
Okay, chalo, let's go.
No, you have to say it.
Yeah,
He used the word okay. Okay is Scottish word, isn't it?
Okay, let's
Okay,
go.
no, but I mean that is a real
One second, now you
Scottish
sound like
word.
an uncle from Calcutta. What the hell are you saying? What happened to my accent?
That was
Go
my
back, go
Scots
back.
language. That was my Scots language translation.
One second. Okay is Scottish. Don't you say
In origin,
I?
yeah. Yeah, so oak,
AYE?
right? So
AYE would be,
yeah, so it's OCHAYE.
Oh.
So that's the root of the word.
So how would you pronounce that?
Okay.
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 Y'all don't know a shit about what you're saying. I'm sorry.
In a way, we are going through it like 3 PhDs. Kajol, this is to impress you. 3 superb students, great intellectual pillars, the 3 of us when it comes to linguistic studies. Bloody hell, none of us have gone close to Edinburgh in our lives. Closest for me has been somewhere Gorakhpur, I think. I've not gone
But okay really is Scottish in origin. I know this. I'm not like making up. Even though I know I make up a lot of shit, I'm not making this up.
I mean,
No,
this is why there's no woman in your life, because of this stupid information you keep in your brain. You ask Kajol for help, she's helping us.
It means
Okay.
oh yes. It
No,
means
okay.
oh yes.
No. Okay, it's not Scottish origin.
It's
American.
Scottish.
It's American origin, and it's a lot more recent than any other word. It was actually a political party campaign tagline. Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was what ugly men get from the women who when you ask them for sex.
Like O and ok and I and yes. Okay.
No, it stands for the initials of the person's name who was running. I've forgotten that right now.
Okay.
But they sold this thing as okay. Like, he's okay.
Was it Om Prasad Anil Rao? Dr. Om Prasad Anil Rao. Okay, sorry. Can we go to the AMAs, my friend?
All right, mate. Let's go to the AMAs.
Welcome, everybody, to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Intel. It's been a great week on the network this week. If you haven't been paying attention, please do listen to some of the shows. We had Chetan Bhagat. This was the first returning guest on Cyrus Says. Do check that out. Great episode. We had Palak Zatakia on Advertising is Dead. Really interesting conversation was had with Varun. We had another crossover on the habit codes. Zarina Poonawala showed up over there to have a discussion with Ashton about anxiety and pressure. Begin the Journey with Ashi Vidyarthi continues to kill it. Please definitely do check it out. An old friend, Vijay Koshi, was on Storytellers and Storysellers. Do check that out as well. And I'd like to mention one thing. If you're a Tamil speaker, you should definitely check out our podcast, Kadai Podcast Punyan Selvan. Kavita Jiva has done a fantastic job to finish up her first story. It is the last episode which just came out last Monday. Do check it out if you speak Tamil. It is an incredible achievement. Please do check that out. And with that, let's get you onto your show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. North of England I can do a Beatles accent. Let's just do that. So we're closing on to Scotland, but we aren't.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, love, I didn't mean to say we were greater than Jesus. I just meant to say we mean more to the people of today than Jesus ever did, and now it's all this. It's up to you, bro.
All right, man. It's
okay, man.
We have a couple of birthdays and anniversaries.
Are we going to?
Yeah, a couple of birthdays.
Can we do it right now, then?
Sure. First
all right, let me put my apron on.
Akshay Achar. That's we speaking Akshay Achar in.
Does it sound Scottish to me? Sounds bloody rubbish. Sorry, just kidding. Okay, Akshay.
Yeah. So first is Akshay Achar's birthday is on the September 20th. So that's one. Then we have Madisha, who his wife's name is Nehal, and her birthday is coming on 14th September, and she's turning 30. Just went 3 days back before.
I think by the time you listen to this, the birthday is over. Hope it was a pleasant one.
Yep.
And for Akshay as well, on the 20th, happy birthday from Kajol, who's
happy birthday.
My dog is saying happy birthday.
Then Prabhuta Avasarala, he sends in questions quite often. His parents' anniversary is on 23rd of September. So he's asking us to wish them as well.
Okay.
And the next one is Lavanya Garg's mother. Her birth, she's turning 60 on September 22nd. So huge, yeah.
So I think it's Lavanya because Garg is a North Indian surname. Lavanya is South Indian. We
Lavanya
discussed this
Karkar,
200
yes.
times.
She
So
told,
respectful names,
I think
Mike.
she said, so she's a regular listener and we've had these
Oh.
debates, right?
Yeah.
I think she said pronounced like lasagna.
Yeah, I know. I grew up with both, mate. I had a Lavanya and a Lavanya, both in my class, and I was able to tell the difference. Both very pretty, I must say. Didn't like me, though.
She has a very funny tweet that Lavanya, I'll just read out. It says, my mom turned 60 on September 22nd. Cyrus, she can give you a run for your money with her non-stop yak yak. So from one motor mart to another, please wish her a happy birthday. Shampoo is her name.
I don't know whether that's a compliment because I think he's thinking of his mother and me in the same light, which is, I don't know, that's just not right. Yeah.
But yeah, so some very
So happy
important
birthday,
birthdays.
happy anniversary to
Happy
everybody.
anniversary to everybody,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get...
I'm going to count the number of people who are celebrating things in the COVID thing because now we've gone beyond the 50% mark. 7th month and all that. So more birthdays, more anniversaries, more births, all that's going to happen as we go to the 8th month. And God knows when this will end. Kajol, when will this end?
I'm thinking July 2021.
So no vaccine also?
I don't think the vaccine is our main hope, Cyrus. Our main hope is a good drug that will not let people die. Even the vaccine producers have said that they will not have things ready by 2024. At the end of 2024, they will have probably enough for the world.
But by 2024, there'll be 8 people alive in the world.
No,
I
they
hope our
won't.
podcast is still working. Who do we wish for anniversaries and all? Dearly departed.
Great segue into the first question.
Yeah.
It says, Kunal Guha is the person who sends this. He says, hi Cyrus, Amit, Silverie and guest. A regular listener of the show. Your podcast is on my top 10 after Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, the Ron Burgundy podcast, Anna Faris is Unqualified, and The Daily. So you're right up there with him.
There are like 11 in the world. Oops, ouch. I don't know, mate. Don't think he's being very nice to us.
But these are all great podcasts. It's great that we are in this kind of a list.
We are mentioned in the same breath. My favorite is of all time, Mr. O'Brien. Then?
Yeah. Because if you were to write a book about your lockdown life, what would it be called? Mine would be Eat, Pray, Masturbate.
Mine would be Fuck This.
That's a great name.
I'm so frustrated, you have no idea. I can't bear people telling me, giving me advice. Do you guys like people giving you advice? Somebody
I
said
hate
that.
it.
No, about COVID. All the time.
How many times have you been told to take steam?
Oh, you have no idea. What is the latest thing? Adrak or something? My mother's the
Adrak
biggest...
is not latest. Adrak's been going on since
No,
day
but
one.
now you don't understand. I have a mother. Once you have a mother, you're screwed because that's the way they get into the family.
I know.
Because the mother has to talk about it and you think it's possible and all that. For some reason, mothers are the most gullible when it comes to all this. And I'm still taking that damn arsenic alb every day, 3 white pills. They're so small, they can't even get digested in your system. They probably evaporate by the time they reach the esophagus. I told my mom, what the hell is this for? I would rather put them in my rectum and see if I can balance them.
You're talking about the homeopathic medicines, right?
Yes.
So you're having sugar pills. Enjoy your sugar pills.
I know. But every morning, being a mother, mothers are mothers for life. Even when you're 49 years old, you still think you're 3 because I behave like 7. And then, she puts it in my mouth, man. I think I'm becoming Jamaican.
Let's go on to the next one.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
This one comes in from Abik Ghosh. He says, hey Cyrus and team. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Iron Mike Tyson and was surprised to know how interested he was in conquerors. When he started talking about Cyrus the Great, Alexander and the whole Greek-Persian history, that led me to a couple of questions. One, Cyrus, among the many celebrities you have interviewed, who has surprised you in a nice way with a hidden talent, like G.W. Bush and paintings, etc.?
Yeah.
So that's first question. And the second question is, how big was Mike Tyson in India? I was a child in the 90s, so I wasn't aware of his greatness. But in the pre-internet era, for someone to be a household name in a sport which is not that popular in India, I'm guessing he must be more than just a boxer.
Oh my God, Mike Tyson was a huge presence, I think, beyond just boxing-loving public. For a little while in the world, there was he was fantastic.
He was at the top of the world, right? I mean,
He was
he was the strongest, best fighter in the world.
I would wake up early to see the matches because they would normally be late, 5 in the morning.
He had multiple sub-1 round knockouts in the 80s.
And you were just waiting for the fight because he'd come out all guns blazing. I'm a huge fan of Mike Tyson. And also, of course, all the bad things that happened beyond that, how he's regained his composure. I've watched him. He's been on Joe Rogan quite a few times. Very interesting personality, yeah. And now he grows marijuana, the drug of peace.
He's not the only one, man. I'm hearing about this from so many celeb types. Right?
But he's doing this as his full-time business now as he works as a small-time actor in Hollywood. And he does that talk
Like a
as
lot
well.
of rappers already have their own
So
stage of
Snoop
marijuana.
has his own app, right? Snoop has the delivery app in California,
Yeah.
Oh wow! I
right?
don't
So
know.
You'd
it's
expect
like,
that. You always
yeah.
thought Snoop's the guy who's going to grow the ganja.
But the one that surprised me
ganja
was
Tommy Chong is now growing his own marijuana.
well,
Oh.
Tommy Chong does not surprise either, right?
No,
He just
again,
spent
but
5
he was
years in jail.
arrested, right? He was
Yeah.
arrested and all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's legal
So,
now, right? And so he's
I mean,
Cheech and
yeah,
Chong,
that's true.
so not
That's true.
surprising.
You
should
The
give
one
him
that
his years
surprised
back
me
as well.
was Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
He started a pot farm in Oregon. So he lives on the land. He lives over there, and that's what he does now.
But his brother smoked and drank everything, so I mean, let's.
Well, yeah. So a big part of his argument was that basically, if when my brother was alive, if weed had been legal, he probably would not have gone into other things.
Yeah.
But the thing is that weed was not legal, and so then it
But
acted.
here in India, all of Bollywood, they want to arrest over mostly weed. Let's be honest about this. But coming back to the thing, people don't know this about African American society in general. A lot of them trying to find their own identity have turned to the Greeks and the Persians for names. That's why you have names like Darius, Cyrus, and all these kind of names being taken on. So they've had that little rebirth in the 90s. I think post Malcolm X in that era where they use all those names as well. So Mike
now
Tyson.
It's a lot more African origin names, no?
No, now they've gone there. So they've gone to the Malaya and all these other, very Swahili sounding and African sounding names. But Mike Tyson himself, if you look at his genesis of who he is and what he was, it's all about being a very aggressive and alpha male. So, that interest in, without knowing it subliminally, maybe getting into the conquerors and the leaders of the world. Obviously there was also Cus D'Amato, who raised him basically. He was white, played a very important role in his life, which people have to understand. And that he's far more well-read, Mike Tyson, and because he has a lisp and a funny way of speaking, you don't understand that there's a lot of philosophy in that man. So I like that about him, because you expect him to be a brute, which he was as well. But there's also a lot of deep thought, and he suffered a lot in his life. If you study his life, it's very interesting. Our lives, at least mine, is so empty compared to his. My only problem is sometimes Mr. Mehta used to shout at me for the dog making susu near his car. I mean, that's not quite the same thing as, having no parents and spending 4 or 5 years in jail for what he still claims to be not a rape, a consensual sex, rough or not. Now, who can never, what if he's telling the truth? I mean, sorry, Kajol, but I'm just saying, because I'm a fan of Iron
I've
Mike.
become very mellow now, Cyrus. I don't go with
Is it
mobs.
ganja? Shall I tell the CBI? Stop all that. It's an expensive habit. Just do what all of us cheap college kids used to do. Smoke the breeze. Smoking is injurious to health. We should quickly put that in and get a vape ad as soon as possible.
Sorry, the first part of the question was Cyrus, among the many celebs you have interviewed, who has surprised you with a nice way? With a
So many. I have so many. I didn't know anything about Amitabh Bachchan in terms of the person. When I met him for the first time, self-deprecating, well-read, very easygoing. They made him sound like this monster, but he was very easy to talk to and all that. Like the first question I asked him, I remember, and I was scared to ask him this because that would be the tone of the whole thing, was, do you remember your first role ever? So I thought he'd talk about one of his films, Saath Hindustani, or whatever the first role was. He said, no, I played a chicken. And then after 3 seconds of quietness, we all started laughing. The great Amitabh Bachchan thing. And then he went back to his school and explained the whole thing. So, he absolutely was totally different from what I expect. But to answer that question really correctly, Nasiruddin Shah. I did a film called Jalwa in 1985. My first foray into this bad world. And when I met Nasir, coming from South Bombay, I just thought all these guys, because we had all these stories about these guys being like, drunkards who don't read or write, is just, make these bad films and all that. And I know Nasir was more a parallel actor and, from a different, slice of bacon, if I may. And we were discussing all kinds of things. Suddenly, I found him to be just the most intelligent, interesting person in the world. I remember he asked me, who's your favorite actor? So I tried to show off and I said, Gary Cooper. I thought, you won't know who Gary Cooper is back in the, 50s. And he looked at me and said, no, I prefer Spencer Tracy. I was like, oh, okay. Jesus, this guy's, and then, start discussing the method and Stanislavski and, Brando and Montgomery Clift and then, lesser known Indian actors like, Bhagwan and this and that. And I was like, where's all this coming from? Then we discussed heavyweight boxing. Jack Johnson, the first black, heavyweight champion of the world who dated only white women subsequently. And he taught me how to drink a gin and tonic. He taught me how to play pool all in 3 weekends in Hotel Fidalgo. Really cheap. You can get 2 rooms for the price of 1, by the way, as I found out the hard way, so I could keep the job. No, so he was fascinating and just so well read. And we could discuss anything with him. So the stereotype went out of the window. So I learned my lesson there, I think, with 2 or 3 of them, really. Then, of course, I met enough who are the stereotype and one-word answers or no interest in their own film, which is just such an experience as an anchor. I won't mention names. Sir, can you tell us a little bit about the movie? Yeah, it's a love story. Okay. What an interesting session of Cock and Bull, again with not a single topic really. We almost reached a topic and then we sort of failed. Good stuff. All right, we'll see you soon. Kajal, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Join us.
Cyrus.
Cool,
Love to
man.
be here.
All right, see you guys. Thanks, Kajol. See you, Antariksh. Bye, Cyrus.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
बेटा, did you know 79% of all scientists in NASA are Indian only?
देखो, इंडिया में टैक्स सिर्फ मिडिल क्लास भरती है. Everyone is just enjoying free यार.
आजकल के youngsters are only interested in partying and enjoying. उनको देश की पड़ी ही नहीं है.
बेटा तुम बस शादी कर लो, उसके बाद तो you can enjoy life like anything.
I will tell you what this country needs. This country needs 15 years of dictatorship. That is the only way to become a superpower. See the Chinese, how much they've progressed.
सुनो, तुमने ये WhatsApp forward देखा?
So what's common between all of these statements?
They're all absolutely rubbish.
Fake WhatsApp forwards that spread like wildfire.
And statements that defy any logic.
They are here to debunk them all.
Way of family WhatsApp groups, worst nightmare. Where what happens when you read a book.
Basically, we're just a bunch of guys who want to cut through the bullshit of everyone saying this, how it won't be true.
So that the next time someone confidently squeezes out some WhatsApp or Twitter BS, you can look them dead in the eye and go, Uncle, please sit.
So join me, Joel,
And me, Tushar.
every Mondays for a fresh new episode of Uncle, Please Sit.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे पॉडकास्ट लगते हैं. नाम है फुटबॉल शुटबॉल.
Presenting Football Should Ball, a show about three friends discussing our favorite game over a beer. Sometimes 3, maybe even 5. Hi, I'm Shiva, and with me are my two sidekicks, Gaurav Sapre and Karthik Iyer.
Sidekick? You mean like Batman's Robin or Van Persie Robin?
No, I mean like Alexis Sanchez, but with a little more skill than just playing the piano.
Ha, just shows how the best players at Arsenal are mere bench warmers at United.
Oh, thank you, Iyer. But you're a Fulham supporter. So whenever you say anything to support me, I question my beliefs.
Just like how Griezmann would say, एक बार मैंने जो decision ले लिया, तो मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता.
Banter aside, we will talk match reports, transfer rumors, top controversies, fantasy football picks, and so much more. So grab a beer and tune in to Football Should Ball every Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.